Okay, going live. Test. Are we going? Okay, we're in. Hello, Daka Flacker Flame. How are you, buddy? Let me just sort myself out here. Look, I've even got my bling tucked in. What sort of bad mood am I? Oh. Okay. All right. Thunder Boys. Got Velgarn. Yay for streaming. Yay indeed, buddy. Yay indeed. Thunder Boys. And Matthew Defoe. Oi oi. Savaloy. 1 second, guys. I'm really unprofessional, really unprepared. I'm just grabbed all my stuff. No preparation at all. But hey, it's 6 plus Stevo. What else do you come to this channel for? You don't come here for professional, slickly edited, well-crafted pieces of YouTube content, do you? 1 minute. Let's just keep that up there. There we go. Whew. Whoa, I'm well out of focus there, aren't I? There we are. Freak the camera out. It's not used to that sort of movement. Who else have we got in here? Toby, you love your boss. Thank you, buddy. Tribute time. Oi, wah. I'm doing a quiet wah because the kids are asleep. Well, they're in bed. Hopefully they're asleep. Tisk, says Gilly Guy. Thunder Boys, Gazzy, wah. There's lots of wahs. I'm not going to read all the wahs. The best content is never planned too much. Well, that's good. That means my content's amazing. Geez, we've got 21 people in here. Blimey. I want to make a freebooter or Kami. Then I suggest you talk to Dreadwar. He seems to be the guru of freebooter scum. Gazzy is back. We understand, boss. Good. Kids are already sleeping, dreaming of Gaz. Yeah, more like Peppa Pig or something, I think, mate. Yeah. But yeah, bear with me, guys. Let me just get my shit together. So I've been at work today. And yeah, the news is dropping so fast I can barely keep up with it. My incredibly rushed video last night, I'm sure there's a few comments in that video that I was very quiet, and there was a reason for that, because last night I was, went off to bed, and I was watching. What was I watching? The Witcher. I was watching episode 1 of The Witcher. Really liking that. So I've just started that series. It looks pretty cool, and I was just sort of finding it hard to keep my eyes open towards the end. It was getting pretty late, and literally I was like, right, I'm going to go to sleep now. I looked at my phone just to see what the time was. That's all I wanted to do, was just have a look and see what the time was. And then I was like, whoa, I've got tons of messages here. And my messages just went mental with, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Like the pictures, Gaz data sheets. And I was like, oh, God. And I was like, oh, God, I've got to hit this while it's new and get it out to you guys. And I was like, oh, I'm tired. I've got work in the morning. Maybe I'll just do it when I get home from work. I'm like, no, the ship would have well and truly sailed by then. So basically got my ass out of bed, grabbed my phone, snuck downstairs into the living room, sitting there with my phone with the images on there, talking into it really quietly. He said, guys, this is the new Gazzy news. I can't talk about it too loudly, though, because I'll wake the missus up and she will yell at me. So basically, that's why the video was like that. And that's why I was whispering all the way through the video when I should have been shouting. So, yeah. So if some of you have had trouble hearing me on that one, I apologize. I turned the volume up full on my end and I could hear it all right. So I guess it just depends on the phone or the device you're listening on. But yeah, it was, I couldn't push it. The kids were asleep. The missus was asleep. All was deathly quiet in the midnight hour as I was frantically trying to get some Gazzy based news out to you guys. I really need like some sort of soundproof room or something here. I can just go in, shut the door, and just scream and holler and wah into the mic. I'm not on the coffee tonight for a change. I've got some root beer on the go. A big lover of root beer. I don't think I've had this one before. It's nice. Okay, so what have we got else in there? Toss a teeth to your boss. Have you heard about the Grot clans? I have heard literally like a minute before coming on to do this stream. Like I said, the news and the rumors and the leaks are spilling out so fast now, I can barely keep up. So I said in last night's video that I would come do a video tonight to talk in more detail once I've had a chance to digest them and think on them a bit about Gazzy's rules. And then I see the news that obviously on the Warhammer community site, they've just unveiled the box set and the Saga of the Beast book, along with an audio book and loads of other cool stuff and limited edition Saga of the Beast book. Then in chat with some good buddies of mine, some of which you may know, they are now currently chatting about these Grot clans and other rules and stuff. So yeah, really exciting times. And for us Orc YouTubers, a bit mental because we're like, don't know what to cover first, or what to talk about first. So I thought about, maybe, I won't bother going into more of Gazzy's datasheet tonight. I'll make a video on this new announcements, which I haven't decided yet. I may still do that after doing this live stream, but I don't know. I'm getting pretty tired. But this content doesn't wait around, does it? We've got to get this content out quick, sharp. So yeah, it's just mental, guys. We've been cry out for all these Orc releases and news and stuff, and then they just hit us with it all at once. But I think it's because we're getting hit twofold at the moment. We're getting hit from GW on the community site with the official announcements and reveals, and then simultaneously we've got leaks of other information. So I'm a bit surprised, actually. I thought today GW would follow up on the leaks, and just because what's what they usually do, if a leak happens, they kind of very quickly get the news out officially, because they might as well at that point, hadn't they? But no, today they gave us more leaks of information in terms of the box set, and it is what we all thought it was and what we saw in the picture. So it wasn't really a secret, was it? It was just that it wasn't 100% confirmed, and I guess there was just that slight little bit of doubt with us that they could have been throwing us a curveball. They could have put that picture up with the things and then gone, you thought you were getting this in with it, well actually you're getting these miniatures in with it. But no, we are getting the set that was announced. Wow, 33 people in here at the moment. There's a lot of you in here. Metalhead Tribe, sup Stevo. What are Grot clans? Well, indeed. For those of you that played Gork and Mork and things may have heard of Rebel Grots. Basically, it's a sub-faction of Grots that turn against their masters, in short. There's a bit more to it than that. But yeah, essentially, you can field an army of Grots. And yeah, that's very interesting indeed. I've literally, that's all I know at the moment, is that Grot clans are a thing. Which could mean all sorts in terms of conversions and building our armies, and also on the tabletop and in the game itself. This could strengthen our Grot units considerably, because one thing we all bemoan a lot is the fact that Grots can't benefit from clan traits and or use stratagems, at least Orc stratagems. They can use some stratagems, but not many. Do excuse me, I'm very thirsty at the moment. But yeah, so that exciting news, really exciting news. The Worst Pro asks me, where do you live? What should I do? Should I give you my full address, including postcode, and email address and bank account? No, I'm joking, buddy. I live on the south coast of England, buddy. I won't go into more specifics than that, because that would be very foolish of me. But yeah, south coast, buddy. Someone says, yay, he's got a 2-up and a 4-up in Vun. Yes, he has. So yeah, and on that subject, mate, you've opened us up into a segue into what the actual video is about. So we are here to, oh, it's repeated on me now, that root beer. We are here to discuss Gazzy's stat line. And like I say, digest it a bit and go over it a bit, because I'll be honest with you guys, I was it was a weird feeling I had when I saw him. Initially, I saw the pictures. The first thing I saw in the message was this picture and sort of a message, have you seen this yet? And I was just the initial impact of, oh my god, it's a leak. Someone's like getting me some exclusive info here, and there's Gazzy and there's his rules, and I can actually see what he's, there's all kinds of things going through your head. And then on first glance, skimmed over the stats. And if I'm honest with you guys, my initial reaction was a bit like, oh, a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest. And then I read a little bit more, and I was like, oh, that's good, and that's good, and that's good. And I'm thinking, actually, yeah, he's pretty beefy, actually. And then I just kept changing my mind. And I think that's because it is a bit of a mixed bag. And we had a lot of us have been speculating, myself especially, on what his rules and stats and everything could be. Now, some of these rules and stats are nice little surprises and right where we thought they'd be. Some of them are maybe just a little bit less than we were hoping for. So yeah, let's so I'm just going to read through them again. Most of you by this stage, I'm sure virtually everyone in here already knows what these stats are, but just for the sake of it, let's just read through his stat line again. So he has a movement of 7, which is really nice. That is really good, because we are notoriously well, in terms of stat line, we're quite a slow moving force, although it's relegated. We bypass that a lot because of our special rules and aura abilities of being able to advance and charge and things like that. So it's not too much of a hindrance to our force, but he has a movement of 7, which is really nice. The weapon skill of 2+ is what you'd expect from Gazzy. Ballistic skill of 5+, again, is what you'd expect. A strength of 7, which is tasty. It's very, very nice. A toughness of 7. Now, I had hoped for toughness 8, but I can see toughness 7 being sensible, actually. Putting my sensible balance head on. Toughness 7, it's still pretty damn good. Obviously, toughness 8 is that sweet spot, because then, a lot of strength 4 weapons are wounding you on 6s, and there's going to be a lot less weapons sort of wounding you on 3s and 4s and stuff. So obviously 8 is the sweet spot. But toughness 7 is really good. It means most things are going to be wounding you on 5+ or 6+, and there's not going to be many weapons that are going to be wounding you, certainly on 2s. Very few weapons are going to be wounding you on 2s, but not many weapons are going to be wounding you on 3s either. 12 wounds. Now, this is one of the big ones. 12 wounds. I had hoped for a lot more. I had hoped for nearer Magnus level, but then I perhaps was getting a little bit ahead of myself there, and forgetting that, yeah, he's big, he's hench, he is the beast, but he is not Primarch level within himself. Obviously, the armor bulks him out to that kind of size and scale, but him himself is not scale. So 12 wounds, okay, and initially that was really bad, but his special rule later on, again, bypasses that very glaring weakness, because obviously being 12 wounds, he could be targeted, but it's not. If you're over the 10 wounds, you want to be way over, so it's worth being targeted that you've got that many wounds. You don't want to be just a bit over, so you've got the weaknesses of being over, but none of the strengths, if you get what I mean. So initially that was disappointing, but 12 wounds is nice. 5 attacks, which I was a bit like, again, I'm a bit like, "Oh, 5?" And it sounds like a lot. It does. But I think when you look at other forces and stuff now, there's stuff out there with ridiculous amounts of attacks. And then so you think, oh, actually, in comparison to a lot of other forces, it's not great. But his attacks do go up as his stat line decreases. And he comes with the 2+ save, of course. So and a leadership 8. But yeah, so his attacks go up as he takes damage, which is brilliant. It's fluffy. It's very Gaz-like. He's going to get angry. He's going to get more whipped up into a frenzy as he fights a worthy opponent and stuff, or just gets frustrated. And that's brilliant, and that's really cool. So as he reduces down to 3 to 6 wounds, he's on 6 attacks, and then finally, when he's on his last couple of wounds, he's up to 7 attacks. So it's really cool that he gets more dangerous as he's wounded, and also like his degrading stat line is pretty good, because these degrading stat lines, sometimes they affect movement, sometimes they affect attacks, and they affect different things. And so for him, his movement drops, but it drops by down to 6 and then down to 5, and his strength drops from down to 7 to 6 to 5. So even at his base bottom stat line, strength 5, he's still hitting on 10s, and then he's still got movement 5, which is the same as your average orc. So yeah, it's I see Idix in here. Just means we will have to drop him in 1 turn rather than leave him wounded. Yes, but as we will see, that's going to be easier said than done for some forces, at least. I think it's going to entirely depend on the faction and the force you're facing. Then we go on to his weapons. So he comes with Mork's Roar, which is a range 36, which is really nice range. Assault 12. I was hoping for more shots than that. And the only reason I was hoping for more shots than 12 was because all the standard war bosses in the Codex have access to the Shiny Gubbins, the Dead Shiny Shooter, which is a 12-shot gun. Not quite as good as this one, admittedly, but I was just kind of thinking, you got to make it a bit better than that, surely. And it is, to be fair, because it's got a much longer range, 36. It's big shooter range, and it's essentially big shooter stats times 4, with a bit of AP as well, because he's got a -1 AP. So it's a nice little troop killing gun, this. And don't forget, he still gets Daka Daka, so he's getting them exploding 6s. So on 12s, you're looking, just with Maths Hammer, you're looking at least 2 6s there, at very minimum. I say minimum, I could easily roll that and get no 6s. But yeah, it's good. But that's not his primary purpose. But it means that 36-inch ranges, he's going to be popping off shots all game. It's going to be especially that movement of 7, gives him a huge threat range. So that's your anti-infantry. So he's got some really good anti-infantry capabilities with his gun. Then he's got Gork's Claw, which is this is the main attraction, and this is a beautiful piece of war gear. So it's his melee weapon, strength ×2, so he's hitting at strength 14 with this bad boy, AP -4, and a flat damage 4, which is beautiful. That is beautiful. They had to make it better than the Killer Claw or anything like that. And it, just like the Killer Claw, there is no mention of a -1 to his weapon skill or anything, which would have sucked balls hard. That really would have. So that's great that he's hitting on 2s. Unlike virtually every other HQ character from every other faction, you don't get the re-rolls of 1. Which virtually just everyone I ever seem to face has re-rolls of 1 and hitting on 2s, but orcs never seem to get that. And he comes with the rules. Here we go: mob rule, Daka Daka Daka. So all the usual standard stuff. And then it goes into his special rules, and this is where stuff gets really interesting. So the Great War is basically it's just like it always was for him. It's exactly the same as it was in the current decks, where he within 6 inches, all orc infantry can charge even if they're advanced, which is a really useful ability. It really is. It's really nice, which is great. But also, they add +1 to their attack characteristic when they do it. So it's better than your average war boss war, which is really cool. And, that extra attack is obviously lovely, especially if it's 30 boys charging in, especially if it's 30 Scar boys charging in. Scar boys with Gaz is going to be a thing. Let's put it that way. Then he's got the bosses watching, which is the usual rule. Nothing too exciting thus far. Just means if they fail the leadership, D3 mortal wounds on the unit, and then they pass. Again, no changes or difference there. But then we get to this, and this is what as I was reading into his special rules. After reading his initial stat line, I was disappointed. I read this, and I'm like, this helps. This helps a lot. This model has a 4+ invulnerable save, which is lovely. 50-50 chance to survive anything. Very nice. In addition, this model can only lose a maximum of 4 wounds in each phase. So that is beautiful. Really good. So basically, and I saw some people misunderstood this initially. They were like, okay, 4 wounds a turn. It means you can't kill him in 1 turn. I'm like, actually, it doesn't mean that, because it's per phase. So it means you can suffer 4 wounds in the psychic phase. You could then suffer 4 wounds in the shooting phase, and then suffer 4 wounds in the assault phase. So there is a chance that he could be from full health down to dead in 1 turn. That can happen. But like I said, this is going to depend a lot on what type of faction and what type of force you are facing, because most forces and things kind of specialize in 1 or 2 areas and are fairly weak in others. There are several factions, for example, that don't have access to psychic powers at all. Things like Tau, for example. So that's going to limit their potential to hurt him a lot. Smite is obviously going to be something a lot of people are going to throw at him. In the shooting phase, that's where he's most at threat, in the shooting phase, because he is a big miniature that isn't going to be able to hide behind a lot of stuff. He can be targeted freely, and there's going to be a lot of long range las cannons and missile launchers and God knows what else being hurled at him, and they're going to hurl a lot at him. But that's where you're most at threat, in the shooting phase. But he's going to be able to tank a lot of that, because, like I said, they can only cause 4 wounds, which is really, that's really going to make him quite tanky. It really is. And then, you can cause another 4 wounds to him in the assault phase, but that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be easy at all, because let's face it, there's not much out there that's going to want to be in the assault phase with him, is there? And he's toughness 7, so he's pretty hard to wound. He's got the 2+ save. He's got a 4+ invuln save. So it's going to be tough to actually, even if you are good and throwing stuff in there, he's got that 4+ backup. And so, he's going to be pretty tough to bring down. Then he comes with the rule, Goths is the best. Reroll hit ones of 1 for attacks made with melee weapons by models in friendly Goth orc units while their unit is within 6 inches of this model. Now, this is really good. So if you are playing him in a Goth detachment, he's going to make Goths so powerful. And this just says Goth orc unit, just Goth orc unit. So it can be anything. So you can have Death Dreads in there next to him for just piling in. You can have your Mega Knobs, whatever. So that's really, really, really good. So along with the Goth clan trait of exploding 6s, they're re-rolling 1s, they're getting extras. If you've got Scar Boys in there, which are strength 5, it's gonna be just ridiculously powerful. So the Goth's melee potential has gone up considerably with the inclusion of Ghazghkull, as you'd expect. And then we get into the Grand War Boss, which I'm not going to read it all out, but basically it means that no matter what clan you play, you can have Ghazghkull leading your army, which is something we were all asking for, and we were all praying that they wouldn't screw up on it. And fair play to them, they haven't, so we can have him. But, and there is a big but here, he's not going to be as good for any other detachment. So it might still be worth having a small detachment of Goths, or having, running your whole army as Goths if you want to get the most out of Ghazghkull. Because like I say, he's got that buff that gives extra buff to Goths around him. But also, he will only benefit from the clan culture, the Goth clan culture, if he's in a Goth detachment. And the Goth, can't even speak. The Goth clan culture gives the exploding. Let me have a look. Exploding 6s in combat, isn't it? It's like Daka, but in combat. Goth clan cultures. Goths, no mucking about. That's it. Each time you roll unmodified hit roll of 6 for an attack with a melee weapon. Yeah, so he would then get the exploding 6s in combat, which would make him even more devastating. And he won't get that if he's running a Bad Moon army or a Blood Axe army. So yeah, there's something to think about there. So presumably, I mean, there's no reason why he can't have the Warlord trait, is there? The Goth Warlord trait, again, which is, I know that in the book it's wrong. It's I know it's +1 to your Warlord's attack characteristic, but it's something else as well, because they beefed it up, didn't they? Because it was rubbish in the book and they FAQ'd it. So if someone in the comments section can tell me, remind me, please, what is it? Because I know Might is Right gives you +1 to your Warlord's strength and attacks. That's why initially no one ever used the Goth one, proper killy. But I think is it +1 to your Warlord's attacks and damage? Fuck me, if it's that means he's getting damage 5. +1 AP on charge. Nice. Well, that's good. So he's at AP -5 on the charge. So that's cool. that's very cool indeed. It'd probably be overkill and surplus to requirements in most cases, but against some really tough things with 2+ save, -5 will be very welcome. So yeah, +1 attack, so he gets 6 attacks. So when he's down to his 1 to 2 wounds, that means if he's Goth and he's using the Goth Warlord trait, which I haven't seen any reason or anything that says he can't have that. I don't see any reason why he couldn't have it. He will have 8 attacks. So you're making him even more killy and exploding 6s. Oh, yeah, lovely. Then we get into his keywords, which is Orc, Goth, Character, Monster. That's the big one that's upset a lot of people because he doesn't have the infantry keyword. War Boss and Uruk Thraka. So being the monster comes with some downsides that I don't think he can get into transports and stuff, which is understandable. But also the really sort of crappy thing is that he can't benefit from his own aura abilities, which obviously most of your stuff does benefit from its own aura ability all the time, which is a real nice constant buff on your characters. So that does suck. That is his real big, that's the big sort of fly in the ointment of this otherwise very cool datasheet leak. So yeah, that's a bit of a kick in the balls. But I would say overall, as a tanky wrecking ball of an HQ that gives out some quite nice buffs, especially to Goths, he's very cool. He's going to attract a lot of fire. People are going to target him and they're going to make him dead some way, somehow. They are going to focus fire on him and they're going to pummel him down. But I think he's going to draw a lot of fire away from the rest of your stuff. I mean, it's like there are things in it that suck. Like the fact that he doesn't benefit from his own aura means he can't advance and charge, that is dumb as fuck, in my opinion. That's probably the worst thing about this because it's gassy. He's gonna run at full pelt and charge. He's not going to stop and run out of breath. I know that suit of armor he's wearing is heavy and it's bound to slow him down a bit, but come on. That was a little bit of an oversight, in my opinion. Now, that may get FAQ'd. This is just a leak, so it's possible that it's been refined to 10, but I don't think so. I think this is pretty clear. This is his stats and stuff. But like I say, it might get FAQ'd. They might tweak things on there that he does, get that. And I've not forgotten Velgarn. Velgarn saying, remember to talk of Makari too, because he gives Gaz more survivability. And no, I hadn't forgotten Velgarn. I was getting to that. But I've got the picture lined up here. So let me just get my information here, because I do have it lined up. There it is. So yes, Makari. Also, his stat lines were leaked. If any of you saw Dread's video last night, he was just like myself, frantically getting the videos out there. He didn't have to be as quiet as me, though. And yeah, so he got the information out there on Makari's stat line. And he comes with some cool stuff which affects Gaz, which is quite some of his stuff's quite cool, actually. I sort of didn't expect it. So that Ghazghkull's War Banner. When a model in a friendly Goth Orc unit, not Orc infantry, just Orc units, so it's going to cover a whole range of stuff. Unit within 6 inches of this model would lose a wound, and this model is within 3 inches of a friendly Uruk Thraka unit. Roll 1d6 on a 6+. That wound is not lost. So Makari effectively acts as a pain boy, giving out a 6+ feel no pain, which is really nice. But in a lot of ways, he's better than a pain boy because it's not just infantry. So he's giving out that 6+ to Death Dreads, to Gorkanauts, to battle wagons, whatever's within range. So that's really cool, but only to Goth units, which it does make sense. It is Makari, and he is Goth. From Gaz, we'd expect Gaz to sort of just buff everyone because he's Gaz. He's the prophet of Gork and Mork. Makari is not. Makari's a little loyal banner waving grot that belongs to the Goth clan, so it does make sense that he only affects Goths. But it is, from a selfish point of view, it is disappointing because this is really cool stuff. And again, it just, although they've given us the option to be able to use Gaz in any clan, it does, I think it still shows that he's definitely going to be at his best when you use him in a Goth detachment, and especially if you're planning to use him with Makari. But yeah, that's really cool. So if Makari is within 3 inches of Ghazghkull, then anything within 6 inches of Makari gets the 6+ feel no pain. I think that's how it works. So that's cool. So you've got to keep him close with Gazzy. But that means that Gazzy benefits from it too. So not only does Gaz have a 2+ save, 4+ invul, he now has a 6+ feel no pain, which again is really nice. Now I'm wondering how that works with he can only lose 4 wounds per turn, per phase, sorry. So let's say you suffered 4 wounds. He suffered 4 wounds. He's got 4 unsaved wounds and he's suffered them. And then he takes his feel no pain and he gets a couple of 6s. So he's knocked 2 of them off. Does that mean for the rest of the phase, the opponent can't hurt him? Because technically he did lose 4 wounds. It's just that he ignored them. So that's how I would read it. But I think that one's going to have to be clarified because I can see arguments here up and over the table on that. But that's how I'm wording it, because you do lose the wound. You then roll to see if you ignore that wound. But just because he ignores it doesn't mean he hasn't lost it in the first place. So I would say it still counts, and therefore you can't get any more on him, which is going to be really nice. You can only get 4 on him, and if he's shaving a few of them off with the 6+, again, it's just making him even more tanky. And then Makari comes with the accidental figurehead. We already knew about that one. The suspiciously lucky, we knew about that one. And he also comes with the rule, keep up. At the start of your movement phase, if this model is within 3 inches of a friendly Ghazghkull Thraka, he has to be, add 2 to this move to the end of the phase. So basically, he has a movement of 5, but while he's within range of Gazzy, he matches Gazzy's movement so he can keep up with him, which makes sense. And yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, it's very cool actually. But again, it's very Goth focused. So I mean, the Goth players have nothing to worry about. Yeah, it's I mean, Green Tide 40k. We haven't heard much from him lately, but I'm sure he is doing cartwheels over this because Goths did need a bit of a buff. They're probably one of the weaker definitely in the bottom rung currently of clans in the codex in competitive terms. So with Gaz and Makari and these buffs and these rules that they're bringing to the table, they're really helping with the survivability and the extra punch that Goths can deliver. I don't think it's going to turn them around completely, but it's definitely going to buff them up big time. Anyway, before I waffle on anymore, there's been loads of stuff in the comments section. I'm sorry, guys, that I've been ignoring you, but obviously there was a lot to go into there. I see Dreadwires in here, or like the Codex Orcs, I bought both the original and the special edition of only to have an FAQ weeks later. Wankers. So, yeah, that's Dread still talking about his special edition. Stevo, why ain't I an admin in here you get? Do you know what, Gaz? Dread, that was, can't call him Gaz. I'm giving him way too much credit here. And there you go. You are now, my friend. You are now a moderator for the channel. And it's only Goth stuff that gets Makari feel no pain, isn't it? It is, mate. It is, as I've just been reading into. Yeah, it is only the Goth stuff, but it is any Goth stuff. So if you're running a Goth army, from that point of view, for the feel no pain, he's better than a pain boy because it's not just infantry. He's giving that out to everything, which is very cool. Dreadwire says Green Tide has to make a comeback for this. Totally, mate. We miss him. We want him back, and he was the only Goth dedicated Orc channel. Dreadwire goes F you, Stevo. Plastic Crack Gaming in it, otherwise known as Skarner to most of you out there. What's the crack he gets? He is a moderator. Dread, has the moderator thing worked for you then? I did just click it. You should now. Yeah, it's saying you are. You're just still not showing up as blue yet. Get off. Technical bit. Yeah. I'm pressing anything. It starts bringing up all things in the way. I can't read what you're saying. Ted Hodge, I'm not buying the new book. It has a space wolf holding a decapitated orc head on the cover. It does on, yeah. Bloody marine fanboys. There you go, Dread. You're all in blue now with your little spanner symbol. He's a mech boy now. I do hope Snakebites get some extra love in the book. They are the only clan that doesn't seem good. Well, they can be good. They've got some real perks on offer. If you want currently, why is my camera focus is way off there? What's going on there? Sorry, guys. I'm gone really blurry all of a sudden. Refocus, you get. Why is it doing that? Is it because I came forward? It will sort itself out in a minute. Woohoo! Come on, camera. There you go. There we go. You can see my big ugly head in all its HD glory now. Dreadwire says, I take back the FU, LOL. Yeah, no, Snakebites, man. They're all right. They've got, if you currently want to run grots with any real effectiveness, you can't go wrong with Snakebites because they give out the Warlord trait that gives you fearless grots within range of your Warlord is really nice. And they do have some cool things, and having the 6+ feel no pain across your force is also quite nice. It just compared to other clans on this, you've got to be clever. You've got to pick a specific type of list to get the best out of them, I think. But yeah, I think Snakebites, Goths, and I would say Goths and Snakebites currently, before all this stuff comes out, are the two weakest clans in the book, actually, and probably closely. And freebooters, I would also say in there. I'd say Evil Sons, Bad Moons, and Death Skulls are at the top, and Blood Axe is like somewhere in the middle. This is just my opinions. I'm sure lots of people have got good things out of some of these clans I've mentioned and find others rubbish. Ted Hodge says, I'm curious about the custom clans and the Grot clan. We all are, mate. We all are. Stevo, what do you think the rumor engine photos are? Think it could have to do with the new Grot faction, or more likely a big mech with KFF? Well, you just raised a really good point, and you've sparked something in my brain. You remember the hand with the binoculars? that a lot of people thought was Catachan, including myself. But now you've just said that, and they've said Grot Clan. Grot Commander, anyone? It seems a lot more likely now, doesn't it? Perhaps that big saw we saw is some Grot fucking, I don't know. Anything's up for it now, isn't it? I mean, anything is. I think we're going to see some more stuff soon, and it is going to be very, 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 very interesting. Really interesting. Dreadwar says, let's hope we see that mech workshop fixed, and I hope they give it some dimensions or a base size. I think you're dreaming there, buddy. We're certainly on the base and all that. So I don't know. I don't think they're that fussed about it, to be honest. I think they just threw some rules in it for the hell of it. It's a cool little kit, but dumbass rules. Dreadwar again, that Mech Workshop needs more than just a fix, needs an overhaul. Yeah, it certainly does. The boot could be a Grot boot. It's possible. I don't think it is. I am still hoping that boot is... I mean, what I want it to be is a Tank Busters / Commandos kit. But we will wait and see. Plastic Rat Gaming, Stevo, I'll bet you it's a Catachan. It's a human arm. I mean, I did think so as well, and I'm still kind of on the fence on it. But like I said, it's just the only thing that's put that little bit of hope in me is that they've mentioned Grot clans. And currently, the only HQ choice for Grots is Makari, and he's Goth only. If I'd find it strange if they were bringing us Grot clans, but not a Grot HQ to lead them, unless they got another special character on the way or something. But yeah, it seemed, I don't know, but yeah, it could be Catachan still. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I don't know. Daka Flacker Flame says there has been a Grot Skywar mentioned in the fluff of Age of Sigmar for a long time. I could easily see some crossover kits for Rebel Grots in 40k. Yeah, Age of Sigmar's just got some crazy ass factions going, and yeah, anything's in Age of Sigmar. Anything is possible. Their stuff is mental and off the wall and just like high fantasy stuff, isn't it? So yeah. And if they do go in crazy directions like that, then yeah, it's going to open up for us extra conversion possibilities and stuff for sure. Dreadwild Gaming says blood axes imitate the Imperial forces they face, so blood axe boot. Moronic Body says, glad to hear more on the love of the Goth clan is getting currently. Hopefully Ghazghkull and Makari make Goths much better against knights, as my current group is currently filled with them. Oof, it sounds hideous, mate. Oh, I don't like the sound of your group. But yeah, mate, I don't think any knight's going to want Gazzy getting too close to him. Whether he's the answer you're looking for in terms of building knight beating lists, I don't know. I still think you would probably be better off with lots of shooty, either Death Skulls or Bad Moons, and just fill out with Tank Busters, Looters, Mech Guns. But I don't know. I think Gaz has definitely got the potential to lay the hurt on a lot of stuff. Like I said, he is. So what is he? He's got 5 attacks. He's hitting at he's hitting on 2s, so most of them are going to hit. He is wounding virtually everything on 2s because he's strength 14, so it's only toughness 8 or above. You're going to be wounded on 3s, so he's going to be wounding virtually everything on 2s, and then he's dealing 4 wounds a pop, so 5 attacks. He has the potential to dish out 40 wounds at AP4. 40 wounds, 20 wounds. That was terrible maths. No, what am I doing? It's 20. It's 20 wounds. Yeah, stop doubting yourself. So yeah, 20 wounds in one round of attacks, potentially more as well if you're running him in a Goth detachment and he's got the Warlord trait and all that, and he's getting exploding 6s and all this other goodness. So he could be like a really just destroying virtually anything in the game at that point, just by himself. Ted Hodge says they said his 7-inch movement lets him keep up with the boys. Yeah, well, it does, but it's that bit where he doesn't benefit from his own advance and charge. So he's going to keep up to them to the point of when the fight actually, once he gets within range of fighting, he's going to get within range and then not be able to charge, which is going to really suck balls. But he is able to use, and I don't know if it's going to be the best way to use him, but he is able to use the teleport pad. So there's one way around it. And that's going to, now obviously if you do this with him, you're not going to be benefiting from the buffs that he's given out. But you are going to mitigate all that worry of him being a big target and being shot at. Being able to teleport Ghazi 9 inches away from your opponent, it's just, it isn't that, come on guys, that's going to be too good to pass up, isn't it? That is going to be just devastating. So, and if you synchronize that with other stuff, so let's say, I'm just spitballing here ideas just off the top of my head. So there's one for Skarner. If you use him in a Blood Axe detachment, in which you can use the Blood Axe stratagem to get the Dead Sneaky stratagem, which is effectively the same thing as the teleporter pad, so you can teleport something else in with them. So you could use them both in conjunction and get Ghazi to teleport down and a big unit of 30 boys right next to him, and then they can benefit from his buffs. Although at that stage, the buff's only going to be the advance and charge, it's not going to be very useful. But he has got the keep in order, which would be handy, so he will keep him in line. And then for the following turns, it would, help. So he wouldn't have to go in there by himself. So yeah, that's good. Velgarn says, Stevo, the Warlord trait for Gaz is mentioned at page 132. He gets proper killie, so he gets +1 attack and improves AP of 1. So if he charges at full health, he gets 6 attacks with exploding dice. He does, yes. So, yes, that is correct. Yeah. But again, only if he's in a Goth detachment. But this... yeah, he's going to be so nasty in that. But yeah, teleporting him in, that is going to be really, really good. It's just going to be, that's going to be such a hideous surprise round. And I think it depends how you're using him, isn't it? I think if you were using him in a Goth detachment with a Goth army, it probably wouldn't be the best way to use him. But I think for anyone else, maybe it is. Something else I wanted to check as well, Pain Boy. I've just got to remind myself here. So I'm trying to think of the best ways to use him in that. So I just want to read the Pain Boy's rules because I want to make sure that you can keep Walker Pain Boy around with Gaz and he can benefit from him. So I just want to make sure on the words. At the end of your movement phase, this model can attempt surgery on a single friendly clan infantry or biker unit. So he can't do that. And roll a d6, again, clan infantry. So so Makari gives out the 6+ feel no pain that the Pain Boy cannot give to Ghazi. But we do have the stratagem, which I think... Medi-Squig stratagem. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select a clan character from your army that is within 3 inches of a friendly clan Pain Boy. The selected model immediately regains D3 lost wounds. Okay, so that would definitely work in a Goth detachment, but because it says clan character, the clan in the keywords, and clan Pain Boy. So what that says to me is the Pain Boy has to be a Goth Pain Boy. But it can be done. in a Goth detachment. And that's 1 CP, which I think is well worth spending to keep Ghazi alive. Although it depends. At certain times, if he's in his proper killy mode, you think, I don't actually want to heal him just yet because he's hitting with 7 attacks. So I might want to take that risk for him to deliver the maximum punch right now. And moments like that will happen in the game, especially at the later stages. If it's like the last turn, or you think it's the last turn, and it's that key objective that you need, or that key, victory point you need to win the game. But yeah, so the way I read that is it has to be a Goth pain boy. What do you guys think? Velgar says, Stevo, I think that if you want also to go super crazy, cast also Fists of Gork on Gaz for +2 strength and also +2 attacks. So 8 attacks on charge at strength 16. I think so he can also super murder toughness 8. That sounds fucking beautiful. Yeah. Now, again, and I believe that doesn't specify infantry, does it, on the psychic abilities? I think you can cast that on any character. I think it is just a character. Fist of Gork, yeah, again, just on a character. So, yeah, you can buff him with the Psyker, Fist of Gork, which is really easy to pull off as well. It's one of the best. Obviously, the jump is the one that everyone goes to, but Fist of Gork is a really good psychic ability. And it's only a charge value of 6. It's really easy to pull off. Within 12 inches of him, add 2 to the strength and a character and attacks characteristics. So there you go, buddy. Whoever was chatting earlier about wanting to kill knights, have a weird boy hiding behind Gaz, following him around, casting Fists of Gork on him just to make him even more terrifying. But yeah, so it's mixed feelings on him, really. And of course, the thing that's going to make all of this could be meaningless, because if he's overpriced, then it's not going to be any good, is it? Currently, Ghazi is 235 points, the existing one that we've got. So that's obviously going to go up, but how much is it going to go up by? Because when we get sort of around the 300 mark, we're really in like Primarch territory now. So I think Magnus is around the 300 points, isn't he? And Magnus is, I don't know, putting them toe-to-toe together. I'm not sure Ghazi would come out winning that battle. I don't know. It depends what the dice gods would do, I guess. Ted Hodge, I'm going to wait and see what the custom clans and stratagems are. It may get better to go that route unless they have a stratagem that lets you move him faster or war. Zombie Killer, but tossing Warpath on him and Fist of Gork, possible 8 to 9 attacks at full health with a strength of 9 times 2. Yeah, you could do that with a Warp Head, I guess. Cast Warpath and Fist of Gork on him. If you run Slugger Boys, I think a battalion of Goths would be very useful, along with another detachment of whatever other clan you want. Yeah, I think dual detachments are going to be really good for this. If you use, have a detachment of the, all your hand-to-hand stuff to get the most out of his buffs and that, but then a different detachment of maybe Death Skulls or Bad Moons or whatever to get your shooty stuff or your fast stuff or your sneaky stuff or whatever. Evil Suns are so much faster, though, and have about a 20% higher chance of getting the charge off from Deep Strike. Yes, Evil Suns are brilliant and incredibly powerful and massively underrated by a lot of the Orc community, I think. I don't think people are much more easily wowed by shooting or fighting stat increases. Movement stat increases don't really excite people, and they don't really see the massive benefit they do. But Evil Suns are insanely powerful on the tabletop, and they are just so good. From my limited experience of playing Evil Suns game, I found them amazing to use. Plastic Crack Gaming, Orcs going from movement 6 to movement 5 annoys me immensely. Yeah, we were chatting about that at the beginning, buddy. It can be annoying at times, but I do think it's mitigated mostly by when you're in range of like war bosses and stuff, and the fact that a lot of their weapons are assault and things. So most of us are generally advancing with our armies, and again, it depends what clan you're playing. If you're playing Evil Suns, it's no worry to you at all, because well, one, your movement's back up, and also you can advance and shoot your assault weapons without any worries. California Wells, true, but the Goth buffs make them more killy. They do, but it depends what force you're playing. I think Goths are really good against certain factions. Goths, if you're going against Space Marines, for example, Goths are really, really good, especially if you're doing things like Scarboys, because that strength 5 on the Scarboys unit makes a lot of difference because now you're wounded on 3s rather than 4s. But against, I found I used Goths against Tau, and basically it buffed the orcs in an area that orcs didn't need buffing, because once you're in combat with the Tau, you're going to massacre them anyway. With orcs, it's just incredibly easy to do once you've got through their insane Overwatch. But the trouble is, the Goths gave me nothing to help against that. And then once I got in there, all the extra buffs that the Goth traits and the Scarboy stratagem gave me was just surplus to requirements, because they would have easily killed that unit without it anyway. So it definitely, with Goths, it definitely depends on who you're fighting. Dreadwar Gaming, yeah, strength 8 was expected, to be honest. 7 is a little below the beast we expect. Yeah, I don't know. I have much less of an issue with the strength. It was the toughness that disappointed me a bit. And don't forget, he is strength 14. And even at his minimum stats, he's strength 10. So he's going to be wounding virtually everything on 2s. I think maybe strength 8 may have pushed it a little bit far, because he would have been strength 16. He would have been killing everything on 2s. He's still going to be hurting stuff, even knights, man. He's still going to be putting a lot of pain on, big, hard stuff, even if it is like toughness, like 7 that he's coming up against, or toughness 8, sorry. He's still going to be wounding it on 3s. Still, most of it's going to get through. Argentum Vulpus, my current war boss comfortably runs around doing 5 strength 12 attacks at 4 damage with relic and warlord trait. Gaz does that at strength 14 instead of 12, but can't coast up in a truck battle wagon. You raise a good point there, buddy. You raise a really good point, because and it's like I was saying about the dead shiny shooter, which is not as good as Mork's Roar, but it does have the same amount of shots. It's not as good, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But I guess, mate, you've got to have 2 HQ, ain't you? So you can still have that guy, but now you can have Gaz as well. Look at it that way. Don't compare them, combine them. There you go. So yeah, have that war boss doing that and have Gaz, and then you've got 2 badass war bosses going around there. And what a cool way to represent one of Gaz's, second in command or generals out there. And it's probably going to be worthwhile having. And I was talking earlier about having if you're running a Goth detachment, being able to give Gaz the warlord traits and buff him up even further. But actually, it might be a better idea to make your warlord someone else that's less of a target, because Gaz is going to be a big target, and then give them all the shiny gubbins and the warlord traits to buff them up, and then you've got 2 fucking powerhouses on the battlefield. It's given us a lot to think about, isn't it? It really has. That's a good question from Dreadwire. How many sprues do we think Gaz is on? I think it's going to be sort of similar to like a Death Dread sprue, but maybe a bit bigger, I think. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. I think 3, personally. Dread, I think 3. But California says 4, and it could well be. I don't know. I think they're going to be quite large part. I don't think he's going to have a huge amount of components, actually, because I think he is essentially going to be kind of mono build. But like I said before, I don't think it's going to be hard to modify that and get a little bit more posability out of him with some slight conversions and little tricks and stuff. Yeah, someone's there saying 2 full sprue, methinks. I kind of think that as well, 2 sort of full-size ones, maybe. Khan Runanda says, Gaz or 3 Death Dreads? Good question, because I love running 3 Death Dreads, and recently in my games I've had great success with them, especially using the teleporter pad, because having 3 Death Dreads teleport down and then being able to go off in separate ways causing damage all over the place and giving your opponent too many targets to deal with. Because most time, if you teleport something down, it's just one unit. They can focus fire on it and kill it dead. So yeah, it's Dreadwar saying wash your mouth out mono build. Yeah. Like I said though, I do hate mono build. I hate those damn buggy mono builds. But with special characters, I don't mind so much because it's a special character. You're kind of, the fact that it's a special character, you're kind of restricted anyway. But yeah, I know we can, those of us, you know, we can still use the kits for a special character to convert and kit bash into other stuff. And I think a lot of us still will be able to do that. I kind of feel like, I don't know, it depends how he's built, doesn't it? Because you kind of think in the old school way, it'd have the arms click onto the torso, but the arms could be part of the torso and then the back half of the arm go on. You know, kits can go together in really funny, odd ways these days sometimes, especially in these sort of more simple build, mono build kits. But I don't know. We've seen he's got some options. He's got the option of the to have the smoke in the gun barrel or not. He's got the option to have his head facing one way or the other. But I think that's pretty much all the options we get in the kit. So yeah, we shall wait and see. Afnord says, I'm fine with monopose models for special characters. Things you only have one of. It's when you have several of a model that it tends to start looking bad. I fully agree, mate. And it is the only time I'm okay with mono build is with special characters and with sort of starter sets. Even them, I'd prefer them not to be really, but I kind of get it with things like First Strike and that, trying to get younger players into it, trying to introduce the hobby to new people. I do get it, and I see that they have their place, but for the majority of us, we want to be able to be creative. And I think for the most part, even when I was brand new to the hobby, I was mucking about and swapping bits around very, very early on. And getting creative, because that's part of the whole hobby, in it, being creative. But let's not make this into a whole thing about mono build, because that's a whole, I've done many videos on that already. You don't want to hear me waffle on about that again. Damn Claw, I'm curious if Gaz will have Grotznik or another character model revealed, enabling more movement or abilities exclusively. Now that would be cool. When I was thinking that just before going live on this, actually thinking if they bring out Mad Doc Grotznik, how cool would it be to have him be able to heal characters and not have that infantry kill keyword? And that would make perfect sense for the fluff and stuff as well, wouldn't it? So you'd have Makari being followed round by, you could make a real fucking Death Star then, couldn't you? There's Gazzy being followed by Mad Doc Grotznik, healing him up, being followed round by Makari, giving him the feel no pain and stuff, and then followed round by a weird boy casting the thing on him, the power, you know, I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, you could make a real bloody Death Star in there. The Chief Surgeon says Dreadwar. Yes, damn right. I feel like I don't know. I think it's too much to hope that Grotznik's on his way now, isn't it? But is it too much to hope that they're working on him currently for the future? I feel that October, we all had our mixed feelings about it. Some people liked it. A lot of us didn't like it. But regardless, a lot of money was spent. A lot of them kits sold. And a lot of them buggies sold. And I do think it showed GW that there is a lot of Orc players out there. And there's a lot of demand for new Orc stuff. And I think when they see the sales figures of this Ghazghkull and the new Saga with the Beast set and anything else that they bring out, it's going to hopefully keep that momentum going and keep GW thinking, they're really lapping up this Orc stuff. Let's keep this stuff going and bring more stuff along the way and more characters. But yeah, let's... Zombie Killer says, toss a knob with War banner next to him, giving the other Orcs some well-deserved +1 to hit, re-rolling ones, so knobs hitting on 2+ with big choppers. Yeah, fuck yeah. Plastic Rat Gaming says, I actually don't want the new Orc stuff to be OP. Keeps the whack players away from orcs. Yeah, I agree with you there. I definitely agree with you there, mate, actually. And this is where I was having the mixed feelings on Gaz. When I looked initially, I was like, oh, could have been better in this area, could have been better in that area. He does have some weaknesses. But actually, that is kind of important, because if you just stick something down on the table that is uber tough, uber powerful, really hard to kill, has no weaknesses at all, there's no skill in using it. Now, there is going to be, you're going to have to think about how you use Gaz, because he is going to be tough to bring down, with the special rules he's got and the high toughness and armor save and that. But with only 12 wounds, he is far from unkillable. But that's a good thing, really, because it does mean that you have to think about how you use him and where you move him, and do you teleport him in, do you hold him back and try and distract, or do you drive him up it's gonna, and that is good. And so I definitely agree with you there, mate. And I, like you as well, I would hate to see orcs become overpowered, although Reroll Joe messages me most days to tell me how overpowered my force is. But yeah. We're having a debate on points now. Auspex Tactics says around 280. Someone's saying 300. I hope not 300, because like I said, I'm just keep comparing him to Magnus, and I only keep bringing up Magnus because I face Magnus regularly, and I know he's around that sort of level. Maybe he's a bit more, actually. Does someone know in the comments section how many points? If someone can fill that in for me now. I know we're all orcs here, but does someone know how much Magnus is on points, please? Just for comparison purposes. Because I know a lot of his... he's got, he can throw out 4 psychic powers per turn. 4. He one of those psychic powers gives him a 3+ invuln save. He is very powerful in combat. He has wings, so he has incredible movement. He is just incredibly powerful, just in terms of raw power, psychic and combat. But also he's just so good tactically, because he's got so many different things. Someone's saying 650 there. Yeah, no, I don't think it's 650. So Auspex says Magnus is around 400 points. Do you know what? I think you're right, actually. He's about 400. So I think Gazzy has to just in terms of that, to be able to compare, you kind of pick something similar, compare what he's not up to that level, in my opinion. I've read his rules and his stats and everything, and just in terms of raw power overall, he's not at that level. He's not. Doesn't mean he can't kick Magnus's ass in a straight up fight on the table. He's certainly capable of it, but Magnus, see a lot of points on him. Someone's saying Magnus 550. He's not that much. He's not that much. I think he had a points drop, didn't he? He might have gone up, actually. I can't remember now. I don't think he's 550 points. He's not that much. He probably should be, to be fair. Zombie Killer's saying 270 to 280, could be 260, 280. Yeah, I think, well, what is he now? He currently, Ghazghkull is 235, so he's definitely going to go up. I think he's going to be around maybe just under the 300 mark, or maybe bang on the 300 mark. Sounds about right. Yeah, all specs say he is 445 points now, Magnus is, yeah. So he's got to be less than that anyway, by a fair chunk, actually, because Magnus is just awful. Oh, he's horrendous to fight. Although I have killed him a couple of times, I'm proud to say. It was I had some good games killing Magnus, actually. It's always a pleasure to kill him. Gives it real sweet, sweeter than this soda. It's such a satisfying feeling. Oh, Joe, I hope you're watching. Again, Tim Volper says Magnus has better stats, fly, and psychic powers. Very strong psychic powers. He is 400 to 440. Gaz will be, I expect, 260 to 300. Yeah, sounds about right. I think we're all in pretty much agreement here. So is it? Gilliman is 350. Now, I've never played against Gilliman, but I know he has some really good aura abilities and buffs and stuff, and again is a powerhouse. And Gilliman's got the whole ability so that before you hear, guys, now you're going to get some Space Marine players tell you that, oh, it's ridiculous that he can only suffer 4 wounds in the phase and stuff, and this is going to happen. This is going to happen because these kind of players do exist. Believe me, I know one of them. I play him regularly. But these are the same guys that have access to a Primarch that once you kill him can roll a dice and then come back from the dead in the same game on the same turn. So just remind them of that and then go tell them to fuck themselves. Because you will get people making comments at you about things like that. Shin Chan says Gaz is way too slow since he can't jump and can't be put into a transport. He isn't evil son. A bunch of 3 dreads is a better option for the teleporter. Yeah, it depends on the situation, doesn't it? I just think for the look on your opponent's face to just teleport Gaz in is pretty good. And like I said, I like the idea of using him in a Blood Axe detachment and combining the Blood Axe stratagem to be able to teleport in a couple of units to support him in that. It would be quite good fun. Zombie Killer says, doesn't Gilliman only have 9 wounds too? I'm not 100% sure on that, mate. I think you're right. But like I say, then you can kill him and then he can get back up. And that's just really nasty. Damn Claw says, tank busters in Mega Armor. I don't know how to respond to that. I don't know what you're asking me. Are you just asking me if that would be cool? That would be cool. I essentially do that now anyway. I use a lot of my tank busters use the combi rockets, Bad Moon Mega Knobs. They get the reroll of 1s. It makes them quite nice in the shooting phase, actually. So it's kind of, I mean, they don't get the rerolls on vehicles, but they're still pretty. They dish out some hurt. Yeah, we're getting some talk of someone saying mega tank busters. Yep, there's a lot of love for tank busters here. They're pretty good against old Magnus, by the way. Tank busters are, and this is where if you use, we're going way off topic here, talking about how to kill Primarchs, but fuck it. It's Snakebite tank busters, I believe. Yeah, it is Snakebite tank busters because there's a good stratagem, the Monster Hunter stratagem, which gives you the +1 to wound, and you don't use it on your unit, you use it on the target, so your whole army can benefit from it. And that's one stratagem I really do like. Again, proves the Snakebites aren't as weak as you think. And actually, I would say going against Thousand Suns, Snakebites would be the strongest clan in that book because you're getting that 6+ Feel No Pain to protect you against all the psychic smite and shenanigans going on. So you're going to be your only protection against that. And then having things like that for when Magnus is flying about, I'm going to +1 to wound on everything shooting at him is really nice because that's the way to kill him. Just throw every bit of dacky you can at him. Zombie Killer says Gaz is power level 14. Yes, he is. So yeah, what are we talking about here? We're talking about if you can put one. They say yes, you can put him on the teleporter because it's because you can put a Gorkanaut on a teleporter, which is what I used to do. But then I started using the someone says Shintan to teleport Gaz and Dreads, you'll need 4 CP. Can you? Why do I think you can only use it once? I'm pretty sure you can only use teleport once, though. I'm not 100%, so let's check it. Use the strategy where you set up a place for teleport per. Nope. You can use it multiple times as long as you've got the CP. So yeah. So there you go. Spend 4 CP, teleport Gaz and 3 Death Dreads down for a nice little fucking 1-2 punch. Well, 3 Dreads is a 1-2-3-4 punch, isn't it? Nice little combo. But yeah, that would be fuck me, I'd love to do that. I'm gonna have to do that at some point just to fuck with my opponent. Yeah, that'd be great. Tribute Time says Stevo, Gaz versus Gilliman, rules and law. In law, I can't see Gilliman losing because it would be GW writing it. On the table, I don't know. I think it's anyone's game there, to be fair, actually. I think they're going to be fairly evenly matched, Gilliman and Gaz, actually. And it's going to depend who gets the charge off. I feel like it's going to be one of them mini wargaming who would win scenarios, isn't it, that they like to do. I used to watch them quite a lot, actually. And that would be quite an interesting one to watch. Daniel Deek says, meh, but to be honest, I'd rather get a stomper. Really? I think you'll have more success with Gaz, mate. A stomper. Hey, it's your funeral, mate. Auspex Tactic says you can use it multiple times as it is used before the battle in match play. Yes, you are correct, mate. I just I always have to reread rules constantly. I forget them all the time. Zombie Killer, you can only use strats once per phase, but you can use strats as many times as you want during deployment. Yes, you are correct, guys. What about Teleporter, Gaz, and Evil Sun's Commandos / Stormboys turn 2 for +1 attack, each of them? See, he has opened up all kinds of tactical possibilities, hasn't he? We Death Dread Torso on a Battle Wagon, open cab. Navini says, I need to get Death Dreads now. You do, buddy. If you don't have any Death Dreads, get them now. Get them in the start collecting set. It's a great way to get them. You save a lot of money that way. Because the other stuff in there, boys and knobs, you're always going to use that stuff. It's the Death Dread kit is just one of the best kits GW do for the orcs. You get loads of parts in there. They're great fun to use. Easy to like magnetize as well, all the options. And they're one of the few units that we still have a lot of options with, not just in the kit, but in the actual rules of the game. We keep getting options taken away from us in terms of weapon options and loadout options, which used to be really fun in building your army, is in like being able to choose all the different bits of war gear and really create your own thing. And the Death Dreads is one of the few units in the game where you can still do that. And actually, this codex increased our options because now we can have Death Dreads with nothing but Daka, which is very cool. And I've got one Death Dread kitted out with 3 custom Mega Blasters, and he is very effective, very effective. He does hurt himself a lot though with those gets hots rules. I think Gazzy might be able to win in that situation, but Gilliman has better other special rules. Yeah, I think Gilliman's probably got better buffs. But the way Gilliman works, Gazzy will probably kill him, and then Gilliman will get back up and then kill him. That's probably how the game would play out. Gaz versus Abaddon. If Abaddon spills Ghazghkull's pint. Yeah. Gaz will make Abaddon his little bitch, man. Gaz will be walking around like holding Gazzy's pocket. Castman, thank you, buddy. Super chat. Very nice of you, mate. Good man. That's top guy. You didn't have to do that, mate. That's awesome. Thank you. Gary Beavis, I'm just here to say hello. I used to play way back. Now I just watch all the YouTube videos and I really enjoy them. I have always been an Orc player and would love to get back into it. Gary, you sound much like myself a couple of years back, because I stopped playing just before 6th hit the market, at the tail end of 5th. And even though I completely stopped the hobby, like yourself, I all those years went by. I never stopped watching the videos, reading the lore, and just always watched with great interest at the stuff, and eventually got drawn back into it. And mate, 8th is really good. 8th is what drew me. The sort of talk of 8th and everything, and the hype train of that drew me back in to 40k, and I've not looked back since. And well, now I'm here talking to you on a YouTube channel that I started. And yeah, I've met great people, and it's awesome, mate. So yeah, take the plunge, mate. Dip into it. It's easier than ever now to dip your toe into 40k, because there's all things like Kill Team where you can play real small scale, and have a bit of fun without having to spend tons of cash. But it will end up that way, because you will eventually end up spending tons of cash. I warn you. You've been in the hobby before, you know that. Daniel Deek says, oh yeah, Death Dreads. I used the spare shooters to convert a Lehman Russ into a battle wagon. Cool. Damn Claw, I have 3 armless dreads. One has 4 saws. What is the optimal loadout for 4 dreads? I don't know really. I think I use a combination of lots. I've got one with 3 claws and a big shooter. I've got one with 2 claws and 2 scorchers. Which that one is either hit or miss. Like he'll either do nothing in the game or he'll get into his scorchers and cause a shitload of pain. And then I got the one with the 3 custom mega blasters, which he does a bit of damage with his Daka. But yeah, I think a lot of them all have some things going for them. You can just create what you think's cool and have some fun with it. It depends what sort of army you're playing, I think, as well, and what clan traits you've got as well for what to get the best. If you're playing Goths, you probably want all close combat weapons. If you're playing Bad Moons, more of a Daka Dread will help you out more. Velgarn says, Gaz kills Girly Man. Girly Man returns with 2+ and kills Gaz. Use stratagem to allow Gaz attack again and kill Girly Man again. Yeah, that is very possible, and that would make for an epic battle report. It really would. Ted Hodge says, Gaz would obliterate Gilliman or Abaddon easily in close combat in a vacuum, but his auras / buffs are not anywhere near as good or as flexible. Yeah. And that's kind of the sense of a lot of our Orc HQs, isn't it? That we don't have the best aura abilities compared to like other stuff that's giving out all kinds of re-rolls and fearless and all that kind of stuff. Ted Hodge says, Velgon, you can't use the attack twice stratagem with Gaz. He's a monster, not infantry. Most of the stratagems in the codex don't work on him. That's a kick in the balls, isn't it? That's a bummer. You really got to pay close attention to these keywords, haven't you? You really got. Dreadwire Gaming said 3 claws, 1 scorcher, and that is one of the optimum builds, I think. That is one of the optimum builds. It all depends. I mean, I like it depends. Like if you were running Death Skulls, I'd say throw the custom Mega Blasters on there, because re-rolling those damage rolls and stuff and re-rolling your 1 shot out of it makes them really good. But it all depends how you're using them, and but they've got a lot. That's what I mean. Death Dreads have got a lot of versatility. I should have just made this a thing talking about Death Dread, shouldn't I? But they've got so much versatility and creativeness that I've got 3 currently, and I'd happily have more, and I might end up building more because they're just so cool. Death Dreads rock. Khan Ramanda says, what are your thoughts about the vehicles custom jobs and creating custom mobs rumors? My thoughts are it's very exciting, and beyond that I don't know, because that's literally all I know. It just sounds exciting. It sounds like they're giving us some more options and creativity, and it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes. Daniel Deek says, Killer Cans are really good too. I got 6 of them and I absolutely dominated Necrons with them. The mortal wounds on the drills is insane. Cool. That's good to hear, because I used them against Necrons, against Nick, and he wiped them off the table in 1 turn. So I didn't have the same results as you had with them. But yeah, lately, actually, in my last couple of games with Killer Cans, I've had some good results out of them. Shin Chan says, since I'm not a fan of Goths, I hope for funny stratagems. I'm curious what the vehicles specials will bring. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's very easy. We've got wrapped up in the whole Ghazghkull thing, but yes, we have a whole host of special rules and stratagems and probably specialist attachments, potentially more other units / characters as well. That's if these rumor engine things are part of this. You'd think they would be, but even if they're Orky, doesn't necessarily mean they're coming now. It could be something staggered for a little bit later down the line. Who knows? But now they finally revealed the box and all the stuff that's in it and the book. They haven't released the price yet, which is very important. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. But guys, I am probably going to bring this to an end now, because we've pretty much chatted to death about Gazzy. Like I said, that video last night, I had to throw it together really quickly and quietly. So I wanted to come back at you today with something a lot more in depth. And as this video is coming on to nearly 1 hour and 25 minutes, I feel I've achieved that. And it's been really good fun, guys. And it's awesome hanging out with you guys and having a good old chinwag and waxing lyrical about the greenskins, as always. And it's just, yeah, I will expect more videos from me soon, guys. I'm going to just do as much as I can when I can in any free available time I can and keep this news coming to you. So please stay tuned. I'm sure most of you already have. If you haven't, why not? Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and ding the little bell so when I'm releasing these videos, you'll be the first to know. Yeah, that's it. This is 6 Plus Stevo signing out.